everyone out there. Welcome to unfortunately, as I would like to say, our final episode of the Gen X Lounge. Well, for now, at least, who knows? The future is always untold. But for now, we're going to be stopping the Gen X Lounge for now. It's been wonderful talking to you for the last little while. I believe the last 2 years, I don't know, time has flown, but it's been wonderful talking to you. Time does fly when you're having fun. And who knows what the future holds, but for now, the three of us will not be putting out any more episodes.
I
It's been
know.
fun talking to you all about whether it's been absolutely silly things, talking about how some of us were on fire to, you know, being street like kids. It's been a wonderful journey talking with everyone here. And it's been absolutely just a beautiful time. And, just having a lot of fun with my co podcast hosts here, Sabrina and Jody. So I'll I'll stop rambling and hand the mic over to you two.
Thanks, Nana. I think we're gonna close our sessions on a topic actually that we started off. So we're making a bit of a full circle, just more an evolved full circle. Talking
Beautiful.
about cultural norms. When we first started our podcast, it was during the pandemic and having to learn and navigate a new environment that was foreign for all of us that we thought was only going to last a few couple weeks to a full blown 2.5 years, pretty much. We talked about the dating world and those norms under that. And now we're going to branch into some of those just cultural unwritten norms that are kind of hit or miss depending on what type of environment you're involved in and how they have evolved in the last 10 years. And really, maybe some of them shouldn't have evolved. So,
Hmm.
for the conversation, and we thank everyone who's joined us on our journey together as the Gen X Lounge.
Do up on her wrist, and she comes up to me and she she asked me if I'll put the bracelet on, and she's just standing there naked like no big deal, and she's probably in her 70s or something, and I was just so blown away by this because I wouldn't even want to like sit there in a sports bra in the locker room, and yep, she like as though she's wearing full clothes, no big deal. And I just quickly put the bracelet on and just hope she wouldn't continue the interaction because it was too much for me.
It's wild. And, like in my experience, and this 100% all the time happens at least like once a year, like all the time. You hit the gym, you hit the gym, you go swimming or whatever, and you're just like totally soaked. So you're like, hey, I'm gonna hit the shower and I'm gonna change into some clothes. There's always one older guy, and then you're naked, and then you're putting on your clothes, and then he's totally just in his birthday suit. And half of the time they're doing that weird flossing thing where they take the towel and like and one hand on each
Oh.
other, and they're just like kind of like looking like they're flossing their teeth between their legs kind of thing, and they're just like cleaning up in there, and they're like, hey, so what's your name? And I'm like, oh my goodness, there is no part of this. I don't want to start a conversation when you're like that. And they always look at me. And for whatever reason, it's always the guy that's always been to Africa or been to some part. Because it's like, you look like a Nigerian fella I used to meet, or you look like a Ghanaian fella I used to meet. What's your name? And I'm like, I don't want to have this conversation
Oh.
with you while you're like twig and gillberries are just like hanging out there. And I'm just like, there's no way we're having, you know what? There's no part of this conversation that needs to be had when you're naked. It can happen when you're about, 30 seconds to getting your clothes on. There's no part of this conversation that needs to happen when you're naked. And they go on, and for some reason, they're going to get out what they want to say while they're naked. Like it's the end of the world. They're just like, I'm going to get it out before I even put on clothes. It is messed up. Always the older guys. I have no idea where this happened. Like, I mean, they're modest about everything. They don't like talking to you about anything on social media, but they'll show you everything in the locker room. It's insane. So I don't know what's going on in there. So it kind of makes me wonder what we're going to be like when we're older. Like when we're 65, if there's a certain switch that's clicked on that just says, hey, let's get naked in the locker room. Nobody cares. Let's go have some conversations in there.
You know what
Maybe that's the case.
As you age, you care less about what others.
Yeah.
So you're just like, I'm just gonna let loose. When I went to the onsen, there was, well, obviously it's a different culture there, but there was a lot of more people who I would say are older than myself that was attending, and I was like, oh man, they don't care. They don't care who's there, what they're saying, or what somebody else thinks about them. And I'm like, that's kind of freeing. So in a way, that old man nakedness is freeing on a personal level, and maybe on a getting to know Nana level. But I am curious though, is this the same type of theme that happens with the urinal situation? Talking while you're peeing?
See, that is like, to me, that's just an absolute travesty, because there has to be some sort of etiquette when there are 3 urinals, and or you know what, if there's like, even sometimes there's more than 3. I've had the time when there's been 5 urinals, and not all of them have any type of partition. Some of them are old school, so they don't have a little thing in between, so you don't have to look at each other when you're taking a whiz. And then all of a sudden, they're all unoccupied. You go to the one to the total right, the one on the end, and someone comes right up next to you. That is a violation of the highest order. I don't understand that. And if they start talking to you, that just means that, to me, they just want to look at what you're packing, because there's no way that like someone needs to do that. And if they do that, then they just want to take a look at whatever you got. There's no reason why what any conversation should happen or should be made when you're taking a whiz, and that will take, I don't know, 30 seconds at max when you're done. What, you can have it while you're washing your hands. I don't understand that. And that is a huge violation of man law, because we're in our most compromised position. Anything where your Johnson is out, you are compromised, whether it's in the locker room or you're in between a urinal, anything in that, because you're just out there and you have nothing to do. There's nothing to cover up. You are compromised. And to have a conversation at that point is just wrong. So man law, or whatever we want to call it, it's a cultural thing that needs to be stopped. They even put partitions in between them now because people have been violating it. That is insane to me that people would still do that. So you ladies are lucky you don't have to deal with that.
Oh, we have our own issues. We can talk about the bathroom etiquette of females, and it is disgusting. Sorry. Finish your story.
Oh no, I'm good with that, because I'm gonna stop talking about that, because it'll just make me angry. Because it's just it's to me, it's like absolutely insane. But nowadays, as I was saying before, it's a little bit better because now there's more partition between each urinal. And that 100% happened because some guys were peeking over, trying to take a look at what you were getting. And then someone probably said, hey, stop looking at my stuff, kind of thing. Or like, hey, you like what you see? Stop, put your eyes over there, something like that. It's insane. Or they'll put the little posters above the urinals, so that could take your attention from looking at the next man's, like, privates or something like that. It's sad, but those are little things they put in to prevent that, which makes me kind of wonder, like, as men, where our kids are. Like, I mean, why would he even do that? But that's a conversation for another topic. So.
And then like the female stalls where like they ask you to not flush your hygiene products. Oh my gosh. And it's not like they don't have a garbage bag separate for those type of products, right? But it still ends up in the toilet almost all the time. Doesn't matter if there's a sign there. Bathrooms are disgusting. They just are. People have no shame. It was like sometimes the toilets don't flush the way that they're supposed to flush, or the way you think it's gonna flush, and you have to flush again. But so many people just open the door and it hasn't gone down, and you walk in and you're like, oh,
it's totally true.
Or don't wash their hands. So I'm a nurse.
Yeah.
That pisses me off. I don't care if you've done nothing in there, but maybe fix your clothing, and maybe you just didn't want to do it in front of people. I don't care what it is. When you're getting out of the stall, wash your freaking hands. Like, seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Disgusting, the amount of women who don't, and then go touch the door to open. Sorry.
It's surprising because I just assumed no, women would be 100% on that, and they're still not.
Hmm.
It's so bad.
Hmm.
Granted,
You
maybe
know,
we're inebriated, but some are not.
Oh, I've only seen sober women like more recently that have not washed their hands afterwards. And this will be at like a gas station bathroom or like a fast food place when I've been on road trips. I'm like, out of all the places to wash your hands thoroughly, this is one of them.
Okay, I have a question because I had this as a topic too so this is our next segment about cultural unwritten norms. And one of them was personal space when someone's talking to you that you don't know very well, right? You don't have an intimate, emotional friendship, whatever you want to call it, connection. They're a stranger. And they come into your space and they're talking to you and they're like this way away from you talking about something. I don't know what it is. Have you had that happen?
you know, I would say I have totally had that happen a few times. Uh, and it's in a little bit of a different manner, but it's more about, like, I've had work colleagues that I've worked with, or some of the colleagues that it's like, okay, you were introduced to them once, and you said okay, and then you have one conversation, and then you're like, okay, how's the weather? Then you get into the work, and then you're like, have another conversation about another piece of work, and then you might say, hey, yeah, you talk small talk about the weather, and then you have maybe a third one where it's just like, oh, okay, he's like, yeah, you know what, we're not starting to get to know each other, but then that fourth conversation happens, and then it's like something happened where they're telling you about their sex life and their wife and what they want them to do to them. And that's happened where I've had someone come up to me and say, like, I don't know what to do about my wife, and I just can't have her do what I want in the bedroom. And I'm like, we've talked 3 times, this is not a fourth time conversation. And they're just like, keep going and going, and you're just like, I don't know if this is like a violation of personal space. I just want it to stop. I don't want to hear about your sex life because I don't know you like that. It's more about, you know what? Wow, uh, that's something. Oh, she won't let you do anal. Okay, kind of thing, and you're just like, oh, okay. Wow, it's time for, if look at the time, it's time for me to hit the old dusty trail, kind of thing. And I've had many conversations like that where I don't like that, and you'll just open up floodgates to me, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm okay with that. If it's like we're friends or we're really going to get to that. But if it's something where, we don't talk to each other outside of work, if we've never talked more than 3 or 4 minutes, keep that to yourself or read the room before you tell me something like that, unless you're in like mortal danger. Other than that, I don't want to hear about your BDSM.
Oh my gosh.
I
Yeah,
don't
which was the most. I think it was a joke, to be honest with you, though. I think it might have been like, I'm gonna do this and try and troll him and see how he reacts. And if that was the case, then bravo, because that's actually pretty funny. But like, yeah, I mean, we talked later on, but now we're still always back to the, hey, how's the weather? Oh, yeah, Oilers are doing great. That kind of conversation. So it was like,
Hmm.
it was almost like he was
Oh.
like feeling me out to see if I could put that out there, and I'm like, no, you can't put that out there.